But
Yes. Yes.
one of the ways that people in the restaurant industry are most comfortable doing that is like social media because they can get on it and they can do it. They're not that good at it. I think it's
Right.
fair to say in general. So I think kind of starting at the top with like what your goals are out of the social media program that you've built for Leader Bar and these other bars that you've worked at. I think it'd be great to hear about just like high level goals, what your like strategy is.
Uh, as I mentioned before, my strategy is I want to know what to expect before I get there. You know,
Okay.
I want to know that they have a wide variety, and I want to know what the space looks like. I want to know all those things. We're competing in this city with so many places. You know,
Hmm.
there are places across the street, there are places down the street. Um, they all cater to a slightly different group. I think Leader Bar excels because we appeal to a broader audience, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and the people here have personalities. They are someone you're going to remember the conversation with, and I think that's just as valuable as the social media. You know, I can't help with that. I'm not here all the time, but the people they've put in those places are very good at telling stories, at talking and stuff like that. But as far as our strategy is just bombard people,
Okay.
let them know all the things that we do,
Yep.
and be consistent about talking about it. We post virtually 5 to 6 times a week, whereas
And that's
before it would
you.
be, yeah, that's me.
Okay.
So they, prior to me doing this, there
Hmm.
would be a post about 2 hours before an event. And that's like not going to work, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, People are on their phones a lot, but you can't expect them to go, oh, this thing is about to happen, I'll rush over. So
Yeah.
tend to do things either very early in the day. You know, we're open weekdays at 4. So if I tell you at 10 o'clock, you couldn't have come here to do it anyway, you know.
Hmm.
Um, for certain things, I'll do several times at timed intervals. But um, if you go through our feed, you know the pizzas are half price on Mondays because I've said it 100 times, you know.
Hmm.
And if you don't know, you're gonna know because I'm gonna say it again.
Yep.
I don't assume that anybody is riveted to our social media. I assume that people are riveted to their phone or computer, and I need to be there when their eyeballs are there,
Yep.
right? So the key is doing it consistently and frequently because you just can't be sure what they're going to see. I'm not personally a huge fan of putting text over the image.
Okay.
I like to keep the image pure and beautiful. That's just my personal preference.
Hmm.
But sometimes they're not going to read the description. So putting a pretty picture of food is just like a pretty picture of food.
Yeah.
So I've acquiesced a little bit. I've started putting some graphics here and there. I'm a huge fan of having the logo everywhere,
Okay.
in the posts, in the bar, on the socials, in our Gmail, you know, the Gmail we use, it's there. It's everywhere. I want
Hmm.
everyone to see it and have this connection, this iconic connection that's almost subconscious, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was a bit of a mess. It was here, it wasn't there. I don't think you could have that enough places either. So
Right.
that's basically just it's like a hose. You just have to keep the flow going, you know?
Yeah, except you have to keep turning it all the time. You don't just get to turn it on and it goes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's absolutely true.
Um, Number one, the logo that you guys have is very conducive to this too, which is great. Like a lot of people's
Yeah,
logo, it's just like a dancing fox holding a beer, and then in like
exactly.
cursive beneath it, it's just like I don't know
Right.
what this
And
means.
it literally says draft house and eatery. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eatery feels like a made up word, but it still tells you we got food and drink, right?
Yep.
Not shown on this is at the end of the logo is a beer tap. So like we're
Okay.
definitely showing people, you know, through visuals, through the name. It's got bar in the name. That helps.
Hmm.
I think they did a lot of stuff right when they rebranded um, the look and feel about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay, so that
Before
was
it was,
before
yeah, it
you
was
were
well
there for
before me.
sure.
So the funny story about me in this bar is I've lived in the neighborhood for 25 years. The bar's
Okay,
been here since about 2011, and I've been coming here almost since day one.
got
This is now the fourth owner. I probably am the longest tenured customer.
it.
So I think that might have been part of why I got the job is I'm like, I kind of know this place a little better than you guys do, you know? So um, I guess it took a while, but it finally happened, and I'm thrilled
Yeah,
because I've always wanted to be a part of this place and part of its success and telling everybody in the neighborhood there's this awesome bar that you may not have known about. So,
right.
um, but yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, we have to fill in the calendar weekly or before, like I've got
Yeah,
things
that's a
planned
good.
out for 2 weeks.
Okay, so that's a good place to dig in. So you, like most people, like you were saying before you were there, they'd post 2 hours before an
Right.
event. There was no schedule at
No,
all. You have a
no,
schedule. What does your
I have
schedule,
one.
like if we were to look at it right now, what's it in? And like, is it an Excel sheet, a Google sheet? Do you just have it jotted down in your notes app?
No, so I also have a computer background. So I help them with their Google Workspace account to sort of make it more of a cornerstone of how we communicate. I'm not a big fan of chain emails going back and forth. I like one document that we can all contribute to that gets
Yep.
updated in real time so that if Google has a weak point, it's when you get 7 emails in, you're not sure which one was the last one we were looking at. And you have to sometimes scroll past the body of every previous email and it gets lost. So I like shared documents a lot, and I also like shared calendars a lot. So I made an events calendar and told
Okay.
everyone, if you've got a group coming, if you've got something, a music act, don't text me, don't tell
Right.
me, put it on the calendar, and I will look, and I will know, and we will both know because you put it there and I check it. So we are far more coordinated and far more like planning into the future than we used to be. And it has helped
Mm-hmm.
immensely.
Nice.
So,
And so you're basing your posting schedule, like you look at what the calendar is and you're like, okay,
mhm,
based
yeah,
on this, I need to do this. Are you keeping that plan anywhere? Like, are
it's on a
you like,
Google. I mean,
that's on
you
the
mean,
calendar too? Like, so when I was spending a little bit more time on the beer menus Instagram, I would be like, okay, here are the next 2 weeks. On Monday, I'm going to post this. On Wednesday, I'm going to post this. Thursday, I'm going to post this. Are you doing like that kind of
what I
stuff?
do is I put it on the day and then I make the reminder far enough in advance to remind me to do it before it needs to be done. you
Yeah.
know, and that gives me a little bit of flexibility about am I doing it day of, am I doing it the day before? Today, I'm going to talk about tomorrow, which is Cinco de Mayo. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows it's Cinco de Mayo. They might be making plans for what they want to do. So today is going to be all about our normal Tuesday taco special being also on Friday. And then
Mm,
um, Modelo and Corona are going to be specials during the day. So I think telling people today about that, tomorrow, especially because tomorrow we open at noon and today we don't, I think it's worth giving them a little bit of a heads up.
yeah.
For other things, like there's a UFC fight. I posted about that yesterday. Everybody, they're going to be looking. Maybe they don't look till Thursday or Friday, but I want to make sure it was there before they look, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Music act, same thing. Got to tell people Wednesday or Thursday that somebody's coming Saturday because I think that's about the time that people start thinking, what are we going to do this weekend? You know,
Right.
if you told them on Monday, they might not even remember.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some ebb and flow, some timing. A lot of it is just sort of like what would make sense to me, you know?
As
And I,
if
I
I
take
was in their shoes, you mean? Like if I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
one of
I'd
these
want to know
people.
this ahead of time. I'd want to know this now. I'd want to know this way in advance, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I listen to what people say. If there's a comment, wish I'd have known about this or whatever, I'll go, okay, I guess that wasn't enough. So I sort of take the feedback as it's given to me.